Hello everyone, Grant McCreary with Injury Compensation Law. Today we're going over common questions for California workers' compensation. These are questions that I get through my clients, either through consultations, texting me through our firm's application, sending me emails, etc. I do have to do my standard disclaimer that this is not legal advice. I'm not your attorney. These facts and analysis, they may not apply to your case. There may be exceptions. You need to talk to an attorney if you want legal advice on your specific case. So what we're going over today is, what is the value of my case? Can you give me case analysis? And what people usually mean by that is, how much am I going to get in settlement? Because in workers' compensation, aside from settlement, there's also other benefits like temporary disability for up to 2 years, which is 2/3 of your average wages if a doctor keeps you off work, or if the employer can't accommodate work restrictions. There's also coverage for your medical care, which obviously costs money and is a value on your case, but you don't actually get that in your pocket. So when people ask me, what's the value of my case, 99% of the time, it means, how much am I getting from settlement? And to do that analysis, first, you need to know the two different types of settlement. The first one is the only one that is actually mandatory and can be ordered by a judge. That is where there is a finding and award, or a stipulation and award on your temporary disability periods, but more importantly, the permanent disability amount for your claim or multiple claims. And permanent disability is actually a percentage that is worth a certain amount of money. It is not permanent disability for the rest of your life. It is a certain amount of money that is paid out at a certain amount per week, usually about $290 per week or $580 every 2 weeks. And that is paid out until the total amount is paid, minus any attorney's fees. So the first settlement is, you are paid your permanent disability, whatever that is, $10,000, let's say. And then for the rest of your life, your future medical care is covered. You just have to go through the workers' compensation network and workers' compensation doctors, request authorization, get approval, etc., etc. That is the first settlement. That's the only one that's required. Standard in those is, you get your permanent disability payment over on a certain amount of weeks, and you have future medical care covered. The next type of settlement is actually more common, however, is completely optional on both sides. And no judge is ever going to order that the insurance company pay you a certain amount of money for what's called a buyout of future medical care. So the second settlement is called a compromise and release. That closes down your entire claim and is basically a payout of all benefits. Typically, if you've already been paid your temporary disability, then it's a payout of the same amount of permanent disability from the first settlement, plus a lump sum present value buyout of future medical care. And how we calculate that is, we take the same amount of permanent disability that we have from the first settlement, which is based on doctor's reports and a formula that we change. We calculate permanent disability based on your age and your occupation. And then we look at the doctor's reports and see what they recommend for future medical care. Sometimes that involves follow-up visits, physical therapy, injections, surgery, whatever it is. And we calculate how much that is going to cost the insurance company over the rest of your life, based on your life expectancy. Let's say that number is $50,000 over the next, let's say, 40 years of your life. What we do is we then discount it to a present value to have a lump sum given to you within 30 days of the settlement being approved by a judge. Typically, that discount is between 2 to 3% per year, which often means that if the value of your future medical care is $50,000, the present value, if you're giving a lump sum, is maybe between $20,000 to $35,000, depending on your age and how much time you have left in your life expectancy. So, to calculate the value of your case and what you're going to get in settlement, you have to know the two different types of settlement, which one you're going to choose, because the first one, you're going to get your permanent disability, but that's a much lower amount in pocket. But you have your future medical care for those body parts covered for the rest of your life, which is worth a good amount of money. However, if you want the lump sum buyout, you have to remember that you're getting not only the permanent disability, but a lump sum for your future medical care, but that also means that in the future you're going to have to pay out of pocket for your future medical care. So if you're going to get that lump sum of money, you don't want to go blow it on, something else. You want to save that money, put it in an interest-bearing account, use it for your medical care, because work comp is no longer going to cover those injuries, and often your private insurance will not cover the injuries as well because they know you have a workers' compensation claim, or you tell them. So when you are calculating your settlement, talk to your attorney about how much your permanent disability is worth and their calculations of the future medical care over the rest of your life, both the present value and the future value, so that you can make an informed decision over which one you want to choose. On top of that, there may be additional benefits if you lost your job. Those are called the Supplemental Job Displacement Voucher, which includes some schooling provided by the insurance company through local approved colleges, some online colleges. You can also use that voucher to apply for an additional $5,000 from the state as the Return to Work Supplement Program. And then the final thing to note is that often with the compromise and release, you are going to be required to resign from your job because they don't want to pay you out a big lump sum and then have you turn around and file another claim. So if you want to return to work with modified duties, permanent work restrictions, whatever it is, you should probably go with the first settlement where you get your permanent disability and you keep future medical care open. If you're willing to resign, then you can consider the compromise and release. Another thing to note is that even if you go with the first settlement for a stipulated award or findings and award, at any time in the future, you can always go back to the insurance company and try to negotiate a buyout of your future medical care. Let's say that you settle with the first settlement, you go back to work for a certain amount of years, you then retire, and you want a buyout of your future medical care because you don't want to deal with the workers' compensation network anymore. You can do that. Now again, it's completely optional on both sides, so neither side has to offer it, neither side has to accept it, but insurance companies do like to close out their claims rather than keeping them open and having to pay administrative costs every year. So, give us a call if you have any questions or concerns, and check out our other videos if you want to see some more information about valuation, benefits, etc.